Hello and welcome, I am the Sterling and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last few episodes we've been quite busy. We extended the main waterfall wall and built this lovely little landing out the front of it. We built this corner tower and we've begun construction on this north wall and finally started cleaning up this moat a bit, making it look a bit more organic. All in the preparation for the project I want to do down here. We've got lots to do this episode, so sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. At the moment, we're sitting on 2,426 limestone and 1,910 limestone bricks, which honestly is a surprise to me. We have built quite a lot. I wasn't expecting our limestone bricks and our limestone to actually go this far. I would have thought by now I would have had to have opened up the mine, but we're actually doing quite well. I wonder if deconstructing that wall has a part in this, but I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is we've already planned out the rest of this wall. So without any further ado, I may as well hit play and let them get to work. And there we go. We had a good run. We're down to 2,386 limestone, but as you can see, we are now completely out of limestone blocks, which honestly lasted a lot longer than I predicted, which that's fantastic. Now we need to find something for them to do while they continue to produce more limestone bricks. The good news is we've still got over 2,000 limestone, so we don't have to open up the mine just yet. So I think it's a good time for us to start digging out this side of the moat. So basically all I'm going to do is keeping a 9 span across the moat. I'm just going to dig out this side mirroring this side here. And there we go. Something like that. That's to begin with anyway. I've only concentrated on doing the bottom level and I'm not going to go exactly the same as this side over here. I will change it up ever so slightly just so then it does look a little bit more organic. Now I haven't gone across this way or this way as it actually brings the moat in a little bit too narrow. Instead, I've gone across this way like so, 9 spaces across, which will open this up quite wide. But I'm not too concerned about that as once we build what I've got planned over here, it's only natural that we'll need a larger area for the water to escape. It'll all make sense once I start building things. Now all that's left to do is hit play and let them get to work. Now, as usual, they're making light work of this. So while they continue to dig out the moat and make our limestone bricks ready for the wall, we may as well start preparing our first task down here. And the first task is going to be knocking down this tower. I know that sounds rough, but we're going to be building a new one. I would like to build a nice fancy tower directly in the middle of this wall here. And as it stands at the moment, we're right up against the red where we can't build. So I want to set it back here somewhere so then we're off and we've got a bit of space in between so the water completely surrounds our tower. So first things first, delete. So we'll knock that down and then we've got a nice clean area to start working. We will have to move the TITS over a bit, but that shouldn't be too much of a hassle. I don't know what it is, but there's always something satisfying about watching the buildings collapse. But now that opens us up and we've got a nice clean space to start work. So the new tower will be built in line with this pillar here and it'll be made 3 spaces off from the red zone, which will put it about there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start planning out the cellar by digging down. So far, all our towers have been very square, whether it be this one out here, our towers on the actual castle itself, and even our mining outpost is very blocky. I want to try something a little different this time. I want to make it a little bit more round, and we're going to make it 1 block higher than what we've previously had. So it'll look a little something like this. There we go. Now I can remove this marker. We better just double check that that is in line. It's the best we're going to get. But now I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if I should go 1 step out. You know what? Bugger it. I will go 1 step out. Cancel everything this side. And we'll have to cancel this here because it will make the entire thing slightly bigger. And there we go. That will be better. Now it will line up perfectly with this center pillar here, where originally it was going to be slightly off to the left, and I just know it would have bugged me. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether or not we're going to keep digging down to the depth of the TITS, or if we're going to route the TITS off to the left here and then come up. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. I figured start digging, see where it leads us. So let's hit play and let them get to work. Day 1 of spring, 1379. Now, what have you missed? Well, first of all, we were attacked, but nothing noteworthy. It was a small party, not even worth talking about. As you saw in the time lapse, we finished digging the hole ready for the tower, and we've also finished doing the other side of the moat, which I reckon that looks really, really good. A lot more natural anyway. Now, we've been really, really busy building limestone bricks, as you see. We have 1,786. And to build all them, we used up our last remaining limestone. So once again, I opened up the mine, and we float nowadays between 100 and 200 limestone. We're at 88 at this point. Now, when I was hunting through for all the limestone, I was just clicking on it willy-nilly, not really paying attention to what I was doing. And this bloody idiot dug out this part here, which made this whole pillar collapse, which then created a big chunk of soil here to collapse. So when you didn't think I had made a mistake yet this episode, there's my mistake. It's all fixed now. I just rebuilt the pillar and then put that back in. Not the end of the world, but it was just a pain in the bum. Other than that, we've just been taking care of a lot of odd jobs, a lot of hunting. Our food is looking very good. We have 16,650 raw food, and we have 5,095 meals. 4,895 of them are packaged, 200 are lavish meals. So we are still in a very good place when it comes to food. Unfortunately, while I've been sitting here watching them dig and take care of their everyday business, I started clicking through the ages of all our settlers, and I'm starting to find that they're getting on. So Alexandra's all right, 61. You got Alfred, 55. 66 for Athelstan. Barry's 54. Catherine, 66. Charles is 55. Edward is 70. Elenor is 53. Frederick is 67. George is 65. Harold is a young 49. He's the young one of the group. Henry, another one at 70. Isabella at 70. James at 67. Joan at 53. John at 70. Lucy's very young, 39. Richard, 69. Sophia is 66. Stefan is 43. Sterling is 48. Victoria is 50. And William is 57. A lot are between the ages of 50 and 60 years old, but there's still a big chunk there that are in their 70s. And that's a bit worrying because there's at least 3 there that could drop dead any day now, and we've lost skills and labour. So I'm not looking forward to that episode, and I just hope it's not this episode. Hopefully it's not when I start digging all this out, because that's going to be a pain in the bum. Nonetheless, I think we're in a good position now to hit play and let them start building this wall. I want to get this done because I want to see how the waterfall works. I definitely want to find out if this here works. I'm a bit nervous about this, to be honest. And here we go, moment of truth. That's unfortunate, it hasn't worked. Kind of had a feeling it wouldn't though. Now, truth be told, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to fix this. I think it might be as simple as I might have to put some flooring in here and here, here and here. Don't know. And I wish I knew why this was glitching here. I could blame that glitching on maybe height or something. Then when I look over here, it's the same height. So it doesn't make sense. Now the fun bit. I'm going to have to put in some flooring. They're going to go down the ladder that I've prepared and they'll have to put it in. And hopefully that works. I think this can't be reached because of the water, but once we build this, maybe it will shift the water and that will be able to be reached. I don't know. I'm making this harder than it needs to be. All I need to do is put a dam here. They'll climb down the ladder. They'll dam this water off, which will hopefully turn all this water off so we can then build this and then we can go ahead. And let's have a look. It's a shame about that. I don't know what's causing that. I might have to reset the water and see if that fixes that section there. I don't know. And there we go. After a little bit of tweaking and resetting the water a few times, there's our waterfall wall working. And I am extremely happy with the way that's turned out. Honestly, that looks better than I actually expected it to. And it had minimal glitching, which was good. I just had to fix a little bit of glitching here, and this sorted itself out. Now, moving right along in this episode, it's time for us to start planning out this tower. Now, as it stands, we've only got 40 limestone and 289 limestone bricks, which, as I've already mentioned, is definitely not enough to be able to build this tower. Which, lucky for us, the basement level of this tower will actually be made out of clay bricks. So we can plan that out. And then while they start building the basement for the tower, we can come over here and start mining some limestone. We'll then start producing limestone bricks, and then we can get back to work designing the rest of this tower. Now the basement's going to be pretty straightforward. The floor will just be clay bricks, as I mentioned. We'll need to put a reinforced door in here. That way they can then get into the TITS. And then the walls will just be clay brick walls. Then a clay brick staircase. We can place it about here. I mustn't forget to put the timber beam in. And there we go. That's the first layer ready to be completed. Now you must remember that this is all going to be dug down. So once we get to a level where it will actually be seen from the outside, we'll then have to start using limestone bricks. But for the moment, that's all underground. So now let's hit play and let them get to work. Fantastic. We've completed the first layer of the tower, and we've also mined quite a bit of limestone into this area here. In the end, I decided to mine the limestone down here only because we're going to be digging this out anyway. I thought I'd get a start on it. So that's now given us 3,577 limestone, give or take, and we've already got started on making limestone bricks. We're up to 829. Now, I don't think we've got enough bricks to actually build the tower, but while they're producing the bricks, we may as well plan out the next stage of the tower. It's pretty straightforward. We'll just be running along with where we've dug out, and it will all be made out of limestone bricks. And the tower itself will be the height of this landing here, excluding the roof. And there we go. That's to the level of the top of the tower. Next, we'll be putting limestone block merlons on top. There we go, just like so. Now I just have to go around and corner everything off. Fantastic. Now we just have to top it off with a roof. And that will be our new tower. Now, I know you're looking at it going, it doesn't look that grand, Sterling. What are you doing? Well, it is going to be quite high once we actually dig away all this soil. It will expose a lot more. And this is going to have a nifty little feature, but I'm not going to spoil the surprise just yet. Now, before I forget, I better go through and put in some doors. One there, couple there, couple there. So now it's ready. Fantastic. That is the first stage of this tower complete. And looking at its circular design, it's actually making me wonder why I built towers any other way. I really like the fact it's circular. It actually turned out better than I thought it would. Now, it isn't completely finished. I've still got a few other things that I still need to do to it. Plus, there's a little bit of an extra feature I want to try out. Not 100% sure that this feature is even going to work, but unless you try, you don't know. Though, I can't get into that right now as we have to finish all of this section first before we even think of anything further. So, moving right along, let's plan out the next phase. Basically, the next phase is just going to be digging out all this. And it's going to be a pain in the ass. No doubt, I'm going to have to dam this off so then we don't flood and drown everybody, especially the fact that the TITS is still open to air as we speak. So I really don't want to go flooding the TITS. There's no way of getting the water out other than resetting the water. And if I accidentally flood the TITS, that's not counted as a glitch. So I'm not allowed to reset the water. So we will have permanently ruined the TITS. So let's not make any stupid mistakes. Now, as I've mentioned, I want to dig this entire section here down one level and then flood it and make a big pond. Then I'm going to do a few little decorational features throughout. My one concern is this level here. It's just going to flood off the map. And I'm not sure that I'll be able to even flood this area because of this. Now, looking over at the end of the river here, it's still holds water even though it floods off the map. So I can only assume that this section here is going to do the same effect. Now, though both these two exits off the map are similar, they are very different. This one over here has a big hole just before. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to interfere with the water exiting the map. I'm not sure if that's actually going to interfere with the way the water behaves, whether that's going to fill that area, which in turn will then say, oh, well, we only need to be a very shallow area up here, and so we never get the full effect. And then rather than having a nice big deep section like this, and this over here, we get a shallow section like this part here, which by all accounts, that should actually be full. I've been struggling to work out why that isn't, but because it hides, I'm like, meh, she'll be right. But my point is, I do not want this section here to be shallow. So now after I dig all this out, if this is an issue, I might have to actually build a wall, which would be as simple as just building some form of a wall across here, which in all honesty, I don't necessarily want to do, because then it's going to look like I've just built an above ground swimming pool. And that's not the look I'm going for. At the end of the day, there's only one thing I can do, and that's dig it out, flood it, and see how the water behaves. And then I'll just cross that bridge when I come to it. So I guess now it's time for the fun bit, planning out the dig. Whoa, this is going to be a pain. Now, I'm going to come all the way up here to the entrance of the river. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to dam it off with wooden walls. That way I can stop the flow of water to the entire castle in one sitting. Then there's no chance of me accidentally flooding something that I'm not ready to flood. There we go. Now the water is blocked. Castle Sterlington is now dry, so we're right to start planning out the rest of the dig. So from this edge here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares off of the tower, we're just going to come right down to here. Done. Then we're just going to run all the way across here, like so, all the way across here. Just being careful not to dig where we don't want to dig. And then once again, 5 squares off of this tower here, all the way down to the red, just like so. Now I'm just having a quick look around to make sure I've got everything correct, and it looks like I have. Now next I just have to go around and just clean up little areas like this here, so then they can dig this through, which then this section here will fall. And I must clean up around the tower. There we go. We're now ready to start digging out this section, which when I'm looking at it, that's a hell of a lot of digging. That's going to take them a very long time to get that done. Unfortunately, that will have to wait for another episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.